Welcome to the JavaScript for Pentesters course and Pentester Academy. Now in this video, we will look at functions in JavaScript. Now, very simply put, a function is nothing but a reusable block of code which can be called from different parts of the program. In JavaScript, you define a function by using the function keyword followed by the function name and an optional argument list. Now inside the function, you also can optionally return a return value. So let's jump right in and take up an example. So again, we use our very basic template, and let me define a function here, and let me call it function call alert. This does not need to have any arguments, and all we're going to do is alert JS for Pentesters. There we go. Now if we go back to our code in here, refresh the page, if you notice nothing really happens, right? That's simply because all we've done is we've defined the function, and unless we call the function somewhere, nothing is going to happen. So let's go back in here and let's call the function. So let's say call alert. Now we go back in here, refresh the page, and there you are, right? JS for Pentesters. Now this was a very simple example in which pretty much all we've done is taken a function without any arguments or return value. Now let's define a function which takes in arguments. So let's say function add numbers num1, num2. Basically we do a document.write sum of num1 and num2 equals and we can define a variable in here called var sum, and this is nothing but num1 plus num2. Over here we could basically call add numbers with the argument 100, 200. Go back, refresh the page, and there we are, right? Sum of 100 plus 200 equals 300. Now what we can also do is return a value and then play with that. So we could remove this statement and basically return sum, and we could define a variable here var m equals add numbers as output, and then we can do a document, or rather we could just do a simple alert with the value of m. $300, as one can imagine. So in this case what we've done is we've made the function return a value, and then we are storing that inside m by defining a new variable in here, and then finally we just use the alert box to show m. Now here is one interesting thing which you need to remember when we talked about global variables and local variables. Now var sum is really local to this function, and if you define anything here totally outside, let's say var global underscore var, it's 100, and over here we again define global underscore var as a local variable, call it 200, and that is what we return back. Right, of course here now add numbers makes no sense, so let me rename the function as well. Call this scope demo. Right. So what you will find, let's refresh the page. What you would find really is that the local variable with the same name pretty much shadows the global variable. In contrast, if we had removed this line, gone back in here, you'd notice that the global variable is what is returned as 100. So this hopefully should clarify the whole idea about scope and the fact that local variables can overshadow global variables within their scope. And this is something you need to remember, especially while naming your variables, to avoid any form of confusion in your program. So hope the concept of functions was well understood. We will be using this off and on in later videos. That's all for this video. If you're enjoying your time here at Pentester Academy, then we would really appreciate if you can recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the InfoSec community. Thank you.